first game.
Yep. Are they going to go for a Caitlyn? This was the third ban last time. Everything else is the same. Are we going to get a Caitlyn on 3? And if that's the case, what else are we going to get from our two kind of solo lanes here? And a Kali ban I think is pretty interesting. So what are we going to get from NIP? Is it going to be them looking for a mid or jungle? No, it's going to be the Ambessa here for Solokill. I mean, there's no Renekton anymore, so definitely makes sense.
I came into this room, we were talking about the top laners, and said, I can't wait for our Ambessa Cassante merchants to show up. And we do get our first one. It is going to be Solokill Pyda leading that one, as both guys truly have picked this choice a lot throughout the year.
All right, so Sion, not all that bad. It's a little bit tough in the laning phase, but is always going to be something that kind of shows up in team fights. We'll see what Kratos can do. For the Vikings, I do want to see that if we're going to go for this means we're going to need more damage in some of the other lanes. It is going to be the Yunara. It was already starting to question last time because Yunara, we saw it in their drafts yesterday, wasn't all that good. I need to see a little bit more. They don't have the Vi this time.
And into the Ambessa, it's always really hard because in those later fights, like, you have a little bit of mobility, but that Ambessa is going to be running at you, so you got to be really careful on how you approach it. We'll see what they want to tie that Yunara pick in with in terms of what the support's going to be looking like for them. The Kai'Sa is also something that was banned away last game. Will be picked up this time around with Niket's Alistar. So a very tried and true combo for the two in the bot lane of NIP.
Well, there we go. He can't miss the Nico Pop Blossoms now this time. It's very difficult to miss the Alistar headbutt for this guy. But this is what I more want to see, like more go buttons, more engage. This allows for Leave and Solokill to dive into the backline. So kind of talking about focus there and priority. I'm seeing this from the Vikings. We're getting a Poppy, most likely here for Gury, but we could see it here for Sulong. And has a good matchup spread for the bottom lane. So I like the flex that we're getting from them. And already seems like we're getting the kind of front-to-back team comp here that the Vikings want.
You got an ear-to-ear smile right now from Leave. I'm wondering, is Doinb thinking about a little bit of something fun? You know, personally, I always want to go back to the Nautilus mid days, but we aren't going to be there anytime soon. We do get the mid lane focuses, though, in the second phase at least. It is going to be the Silas band away towards the Vikings, as well as the Taliyah band towards Doinb.
Kind of telling that they want to take away these champions. I mean, rightfully so. There's a Alistar in the game. Always going to be very worried about that. Kind of opens up for more Ahri. Opens up for a little bit more Victor. Always kind of on the table. We've seen Annie completely drop off the face of the earth in a lot of these games.
Thankfully, because the LPL can't play it. You know?
Man.
Sedge. Hey, we live here. We're allowed to talk like that, okay? We're in the house. We get to sit down for that. Anyways,
I want to see what our Annie win rate is. Continue.
Okay, the Viego ban is going to be there, so they're trying to whittle down Naiyou from getting some of those reset power picks there. The Hui is going to be the other ban for NIP, so they're still focusing on that mid lane. And we'll see what the counter pick, what honestly Vikings probably chose red side for, is going to be looking like for them.
Let's see. Let's honestly just pick your mid laner here. It's fine.
Counter pick jungle.
We've seen that Kati was...
So, Poppy going to the bot lane with the Yunara, Zyra jungle.
All right. Has been one of the more play champions we've gotten out from Gury this year over in the LCP. So what is going to be the response here from Naiyou? We've seen a couple of different kind of champions. Udyr was like the old school variant versus the Zyra. I do think that Karthus is kind of funny because if we're talking about dive here for NIP, the Ambessa goes in, maybe gets a target low, Kai'Sa can do the same, or you could even have the Karthus set up for those champions. So I think Nautilus the theory behind it is
Nautilus
very good.
Mid. Oh, dang it. Okay, no. It's not going to be it. All right, well, we'll probably end up getting a little bit of AD mid since we are going to have a lot of AP potential coming from the jungle. But I do love that NIP are playing with their food a little bit, playing with the pick potential. It's the
not again.
It's the Karthus mid, Pantheon mid, whichever one. It's probably the Pantheon mid that we saw absolutely destroy like the first 10 minutes of the game from Doinb and then fell off a literal cliff. That game was brutal.
We have a Sion in mid.
Okay.
All right.
Could be Yorick into the Ambessa.
I won't lie here, Lennon.
Yes.
Another game where I see this and I'm like, where is the backup for my marksman? Who is stopping this team? I mean, they have a Zyra, so the theory behind this composition here for the Vikings, Poppy can be a big frontliner. Sion's also going to be a big frontliner to stop them. Even more counter-engage, I think, from this team with the Zyra plants and her ultimate, plus having the Yorick as kind of a sixth man with the Maiden. The problem that I do see here is that Poppy can only really stop like 1 or 2 engagements, and because she's in support, she's going to be even weaker than I normally tend to see. This is Karthus favored. I would love to play Karthus in this game.
Okay.
Again, Karthus Q, if it's only on the single target, it does double damage, and it one-shots the Zyra plants. So, not much you can play for at that point.
The team fight impact is going to be much different, though. I feel like in a lot of ways between the two.
Sure, he doesn't one-shot Kratos or Kati, but remember, look at his team, right? Like, he can ult first, he can also ult last, and still be in the fight. He has Dark Harvest, so it looks like he is going to be the one that's going to be, because there's kind of a concept of like setters and then finishers. So Doinb, Solokill, Niket are going to be the people that set up the play, that put their opponents on the back foot, and then Leave and Naiyou are going to be the finishers. They're going to be the ones that knock over the dominoes and get themselves a team fight win.
Yeah, and I think on the other side, I don't know how you feel about it, but like in some ways, I think it's okay if some scaling comes online for Vikings and maybe buying a little bit more time there. But I think the early game is still going to be a little bit wacky and a little bit wonderful, like we've seen already in that game number 1, because game 2 is kicking off rotating. I don't know why that's there, but I love to see it. Rotating banner, rotating banner. And we get into game number 2. It is NIP versus the Vikings.
Whoever over on LPL that made this, I don't think this is a TR client, but usually you're supposed to set that as the whoever is making the lobby.
Okay, well, I gotta say Lethal Tempo is stacked up for style, and is gonna get a decent amount of damage on Niket. I think there's gonna be enough time for a reset if they want to go ahead and take it, though. And we'll see Styles' impact in this one. I know he's already impacted my eyes because the style of his hair is pretty legit. I would love to know who his barber is.
Or his hairstylist, you know.
That's
usually the person. Because if I'm going to the barber every single day for a game day to help me out, that's going to be a little tough. But I think it's interesting what the Vikings have got done here. I mean, the Yorick into the Ambessa is a pretty decent matchup. It's better than the Sion, for sure, in the laning phase. And this is actually a really good way for Kati to neutralize this Sion, or this Pantheon. So I like the ideas that are going forward. It's just whether or not we can actually see these two junglers power clear. And right now, Naiyou's already only 2 camps. Gury's pretty far ahead, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, Gury had 4 plants stacked on the red buff as well, so it's instantly
He's already crossing over.
Down.
It's gone.
I do wonder if he stopped off for that final chicken there, because if he didn't get the reset, it's going to be a little bit tough. Doinb goes for the preemptive flash onto Kati, gets the CC chain. The shield is not going to fall down. Doinb won't get the first blood, did end up burning the flash. Both will have TP to get back.
That's fine. Pantheon gets to stay push this next wave. Kati's going to miss at least half of this once it goes underneath the turret. And we talked about farming junglers. Right now, it is an advantage going over to the MGN Vikings. Gury with the electrocute Zyra. Already almost done with all 6 of his camps. It's doing the blue buff at the same time. He's going to show up bottom lane, and they can maybe even go for an invade with Shulong.
All right, I kind of like this momentum the Vikings are trying to play with over here. Naiyou does have the Dark Harvey, so he'll be looking for Harvey Dent somewhere. I don't know if he's a big fan of Batman, but I do love to see that here in the Summoner's Rift setup, as Gury's going to find Naiyou. They're going to just back off of this one. Have a bit of a man advantage on bot side, but they might go ahead and go for this mid lane play. Under full vision, though, Naiyou will end up coming out of the river here. Kati should just be fine. He's hovering back over to Gury, and that Scuttle Crab will just be the trade, and Naiyou will go to his top side.
Yeah, Naiyou should have just ignored this. It doesn't matter. All you're doing is just leeching experience from your mid laner. So unless that the 2 or so minions that Naiyou was there for end up being a big difference maker. I think kind of just wasted time here. He's going to show on top side.
Dude, the dead man just walking across the map and just seeing everybody here as he's going to pop the wall. Kratos in a little bit of trouble, going to get some healing back, but I don't think it's going to be nearly enough, and he has no minions to help him out. It's going to be the first blood to Naiyou and NIP.
All right, good start here. So he's going to help push out this wave. He's going to reset. He has camps respawning on top side, the most important. And while all this is happening, Gury is getting access to those respawn camps at the same time. So the gold going to give him a small lead in terms of that, but I think Gury is still not too unimpressed in this game. He's going to be pretty fine for what the game has in store.
Yeah, a couple little things that deny on the bot side stop was really good. Leave will just get that reset back out to the bot side. Now, it is also important to note that in that situation, I got to say, Kratos had vision on Naiyou coming up the waters there. So not able to play there, but still will have his flash at least. So there's something to hold on to for him. But when we get back out into this, it's going to be a lot different from game number 1. These are 2 junglers that, if you let them, will be perfectly fine not seeing a single lane for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, sure. I mean, right now we're going to have level 6s coming up soon. It's going to not be on this wave, but probably the next one for our solo lanes and our jungles. That becomes the real point where we get a little bit more fun. Think about the globals in this game.
True.
Karthus Ultimate, Pantheon. I guess we can count Sion Ultimate, although it's a little more tricky.
NIP are going back to the days when they were facing off against AL. As Solokill in some trouble, so will the other solo laner in Doinb as he goes down to the trade kill there. 1-1 now to the Vikings, and both junglers on the board.
All right. Naiyou can't do anything bottom lane. There's no real dive potential for this lane. I thought maybe Gury was going to be looking for a dragon start with the fact that he has priority in mid lane, but is instead going to take his reset. Now, he doesn't have very many camps. He already cleared his Krugs and his Raptors. Doesn't have any bot side camps either. It looks like he's going to try and contest on top lane, but Kati still needs to reset. And I don't think Kratos can really help here, but I guess he just gets it.
Yep, I guess so. Again, it's the AL representation that's really messing with NIP's heads. Public execution comes out, and here comes the Grand Starfall 2. As that wall will be beautifully timed by Kratos. They're going to try to stop Naiyou from getting any angles here, and he won't even be able to slow them down in the end. The Maiden will go down to Doinb.
And we got the scuttle. So big win all around. NIP are very happy. We got two wins. Naiyou's up an entire camp. I think we could just turn off the game now, guys. It's basically a free win from here on out.
If only it was that easy, my dear Alk. Because the Vikings, they want their own play. They're going to go for an invade on Naiyou.
Oh!
And he doesn't get it in the end. Gury gets the smite, steal away, and then Naiyou just sacrifices his life for a little bit of damage. Doinb's going to try to follow through. Going to go for the stun CC on the Kati. Really needs to get Gury down, though. Gury is the damage dealer here, but the Stranglethorns have come out. And now Gury's just going to expertly sidestep while Kati gets the kill.
How much more? I mean, can Solokill find this ultimate? Oh, here we go. There it is.
Requiem. It's not enough damage just yet. It is not even nearly enough. And Gury's going to flash away from the wolves and still pick up the camp. Meanwhile, Niket is just rushing over here, but he's going to die. The plants are coming down onto him now. He's getting CC'd to hell. Doesn't have the headbutt pulve combo either. Finally, Naiyou is here. Puts up the wall to slow them down. TP going to come out from Sulong. And an angry kitty cat emote comes through from Gury.
Right after I say that this game is wrapped up, we can just FF after this, guys. Now, Gury, he gets the blue buff, he gets the Gromp, and he gets 2 kills, or at least the assists for them as well. Doinb has to be a little bit careful. Should be fine thanks to having the Aegis Assault, but that is a huge, huge win coming in for the MGN Vikings. Great invade as well. They use the priority coming in through mid. Naiyou fortunately misses out the smite and is unable to do very much. The Sion has way too much HP, and Naiyou just misses out on too much, and this is an overextended play. The amount of just crowd control coming in from this Zyra is so deadly.
It really is. And a little side point, gotta say, Naiyou, maybe work on the Qs a little bit. We'll see, though, as a max distance hits from the decimating smash, and we look back on the map, and there's a back coming through from Naiyou, trying to get that reset going up. But more importantly, the dragon is up, and all 3 grubs had gone over to NIP.
All right, so they do end up getting that. You know, the objective is not all that bad. They are going to have Kati sit in top side while Leave and Niket farm out on this top wave. Sulong trying to just invade onto Naiyou. Zyra is eating these camps alive right now. All of this vision in favor of MGN Vikings and our LCP representatives.
All right, the engage on Kati here is going to bear a little bit of fruit. Unfortunately, he's just ridiculously tanky already, and I'm not seeing the answer. I'm not seeing Karthus be good into Zyra right now, and it is going to look even worse, too, as Doinb comes in a little bit late. Does end up having a little bit of the denial of the turret, but a couple plates had already gone over to the Vikings.
Well, a part of this is also with 2 really hard farming AP junglers. It's about who can be more efficient, who can find camps, and also what they can do with priority. And I think we've just seen that MGN Vikings are just a lot better at being able to move around the map in this game number 2. They used the Scion to invade on top side, then they made that play, and also were able to get so many camps on the bottom side. And look at Gury's pathing now. He has all of these jungle camps up and available after the dragon.
And one thing I'll give Doinb is he doesn't know when to stop. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. Requiem coming out, but nearly not enough damage again. And Doinb was willing to go down 0-3 there as Leave sidestepping onto Kati, but needs to go in for the kill. Gets the last proc on the plasma, and it will be a kill going to Sulong.
I just don't think it's worth it, though. Like, Leave loses his ultimate. He's also going to lose at least part of this wave. Same thing will happen over to Kati, but at least with the Scion zombie form, you can kind of cheat a little bit of the wave. It's not looking good here for NIP.
It's not looking good, Alk.
If you are an LCP fan, your flags are waving high because this is a good early game start. Your Zyra's 1,000 gold up and has already completed the Leandri's Torment. So it's only going to get worse from here if you are this champion. This champion's going to get faster and faster at clearing, and they also got the first dragon of the game.
And every single champion on NIP side hates dealing with the Zyra in these fights. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of champions that like dealing with it in the fights, but you're not going to be able to get damage down 90% of the time once those Stranglethorns come out. You don't have very much range, and if you're all in, right, you're just all under that CC chaining. And it's been a really good read from Gury so far. I really like what the Vikings had done in the draft to set themselves up with this one. It looked a little bit wonky, but now that the comp is coming together and now that they realize that NIP were also trying to scale in some fashions, like, they just have the frontline wall here.
Yep, for sure. And it's going to get tough. Like, you don't have very many ways of being able to break the backline. We talked about this composition from NIP basically being trade backline, get right in there, try to make a dive happen. We're seeing that Styles trying to take the 1v1 versus Leave.
Style it on Leave, not even close. Take a drink of that tea or something, Leave. You need to cool down as he gets solo boloed.
He doesn't have ultimate. I just don't understand why we're making that play. Style loses his barrier.
Didn't do anything.
Yeah, now Gury gets to move in on bottom side. This is going to be the first turret going over to the Vikings. They get feats of strength, feats of warfare, feats of tower taking. This is a huge win for them. This might just be, I don't want to call it too early, but very confidently looking like game.
To quote one of the greats, "What the helly?" There you go. That's the quote. Shout out Cable.
Come on, man.
Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I'll still be questioning that one for a little while.
That's not even him that made that.
I know it wasn't, but yeah, hey, that's the meme. That's the funny part. Keeper verdict did come through. They do end up getting the kill on the Kati, so he was tanky, but not tanky enough. Leave is on the wrong side of the plate. He's getting ran down by Gury now. He's going to try to fight back in. Is going to flash. Is going to barrier finally. Tries to get the outplay on a Gury, but Gury will just take him down for a third kill in the game.
Oh, no.
Dude, what is Leave doing?
Leave was trying to play up on that mid-wave, thought that if he used the ultimate, it would be able to give him a better way of getting out from Gury, but unfortunately still ends up falling. And while it is a trade, Kati dying on the top side, you can see that right now, NIP are struggling in this game. Even top lane, like I'm looking at Solokill right now, he hasn't even finished his first item yet in this game, 13.5 minutes in, and it's going to be a while for these damage dealers to really get into spots. So MGN Vikings are saying, cool, you're not winning the early game. We want to be able to scale. Let's get 2 and 3 items. Let's get our Fed Zyra. And we'll be more than happy to walk into objective fights where you have to play into a Fed Zyra.
All right, NIP, this is their next stance. They have made a play on the top side. They brought Naiyou up here. He is going to stop his back for a second and then finish it in the end. So there won't be anything else that comes up this way. But there is the Rift Herald in about a minute. And the Dragon in about a minute as well. So a little bit of split focuses could be coming through here. Do Vikings want to give over another topside objective fully just to get that Dragon stacking going? As you see, oh my god, 1,000 golden plates to absolutely 0 from NIP.
Stuff, they didn't really get the ability to push. Obviously, mid lane was kind of a wash. Top lane has been kind of even for the most part. It may be slightly favored towards Kratos. As you can see, he's opening up a lead for themselves. The LCP, a lot of people have criticized this region in years past for not being able to perform in internationals. And while this is a much lower stakes tournament, I think it's pretty impressive that we still get to see middle of the pack teams being able to play against each other. And it's this cross-regional stuff that I think is really enjoyable for fans at home. And I'm sure the LCP fans are having a lot of fun now with just the state of affairs just tonight alone.
And I'll just say, like, for a lot of these experienced players, oh my god, leave, walk away, bro, walk away. He can't do it. Okay. Style doesn't get the kill in the end. Doinb gonna find an engage on a Gury, trying to get that shutdown. He's got a lot of gold in his pocket, and Doinb tries to go for the flash play. Oh my god. What is up with the flash plays today from NIP as Keeper's Verdict comes through from Sulong? That will be the trade for the turret, though, in favor of Viking Esports in the top side.
Kratos is very fed this game. This York could be very problematic. We always talk about when there is a champion that is an immobile kind of carry, the Dark Procession can make it very easy for the Vikings. Poppy also will just get a ton of value in general with these Keeper's Verdict. And this is just getting worse here now because the MGN Vikings are going to get Dragon. They win out on the play in mid. I don't think they'll have time to go for Herald at the same time, but we're seeing that NIP just don't have enough damage at this point in the game.
No, they really don't. And I get to go back to my point that I was making before the fighting kicked off is for a lot of these known names, it's more games, maybe not as relatable there, but for a lot of the players in those middling teams, right, the teams that didn't make it to Worlds, there's a lot of developing players, a lot of players that are in their journeyman years that any kind of international experience is so important, even if it's remote, but just being able to flex your muscles, being able to test yourself against other regions and how they play the game, how they think about the game, I think is also important. As a lot of lockdown onto Niket and Unbreakable will or not, you will falter in the face of the Vikings as Doinb is also getting low, and this game is looking tough for NIP.
Oh, this game is looking cooked at this point. There is very few
I just don't know what you do into Zyra
NIP.
here. Like, there's nothing, right?
Yeah. Zyra is absolutely eating this jungle alive right now. You can see that Long might be looking for a play with the Hex Flash. Also has heals, so it's a little bit more durable.
Gets caught by Doinb. Public Execution comes out from Solokill. So this is just a multi-pronged attack from NIP, and I don't know if it's going to pay off. Styles sidesteps and Styles on him. Requiem coming down. Will it finally have enough damage? It does. He does have the Blackfire Torch, so some burning definitely helped there to get Style down. But unfortunately, in the end, it will just be a little bit of give me up from NIP.
Okay, I also think that Leave's summoner spells are bugged, because he definitely used the barrier. Because he used the barrier in the second fight versus Style where he almost died but was able to walk back. So that is just, there we go. Yeah, and you can see here, his flash isn't even up. Okay, so it is a bit of an observer bug, unfortunately, spectator error, but this is such a good fight here for the Vikings. It still is, yes, an even trade at the very end because they have the Kai'Sa ultimate and they eventually get Style, but you can just see it is not enough at this point. NIP are too far down. They don't have ways of, I think, properly scaling back into this game. It is basically all Naiyou trying to find farm. But the problem is when you start losing games, you also lose access to camps. You lose access to a lot of gold and experience that the enemy teams will. So basically at this point, if you're an LPL fan, you are hoping that either A, Naiyou has such an insane Karthus ultimate that he basically either gets a pentakill or wins the game for the team, or that Leave, who has made plenty of errors in this tournament alone, in just 2 series, that this Kaisa can kind of have a 1v9, because outside of that, it is not looking good for the rest of this team.
And I will say it's been pretty impressive that Naiyou has been able to keep on par with the farming of Gury, though, throughout this. He will also have the Rift Herald play to go for him if they want to finally take down one of these turrets, as they have lost all of their defensive structures and not a single one has fallen from the Vikings. But that open gold, that extra standing gold on the map will be very nice, as they're just going to buy their time. They're really opting into this. Hey, we're just going to hold out and try to get as many items as we possibly can before we are forced into game-deciding fights.
Yeah, I mean, almost 6,000 gold. You have a 2-dragon lead as well. Doinb's trying to find Gury.
Oh my goodness. Doinb trying to get another kill onto him, but he just gets locked down. Gury just goes golden with the Seeker's arm guard, and Doinb is out of gas, does not have anything left, as that is a 1 rotation champion for you. And the overzealous play from NIP. Yeah.
Like, it spawns in 15 seconds. It looks like they're going to try and get some resets going on through. There's no ultimates for some of these players.
I'll leave.
Leave, what are we doing? Okay, maybe.
Okay.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
He's getting ran down by a top laner, and that's the ADC experience. Naiyou just coming through as a passenger, walking by while his ADC dies, and there's been some very big question marks levied to NIP this game. I don't know what the hell is happening, but this team is all over the place.
This is also problematic because I look at the standings, and if how we interpret the tiebreakers is going to be true, some giving up a game versus the MGN Vikings could be very problematic if NIP want to make it into the knockout stage.
They thought that Kati was the Atakan. That's what happened here. They're going to try to take the fight back on Sulong, but he's going to get out with his flash, and now Doinb again, without anything left in his rotation, is just down. Requiem gets canceled by Kati. Oh my God, it goes from bad to worse here for NIP. It's 10,000 gold down. GG.
So game three here for our representatives. Wonderful to see Shogun back in the lineup for LCP here going into game number 3.
You can't sub him in, right? You won. Style gets to stay.
Nah. Because technically Style also lost last night too. So
He did.
Tough look.
Man, I'm perplexed by NIP here. Like, first of all, I hate their comp. Not like I don't like the comp very much, but the execution, man, it's been wild.
It's been pretty bad. I mean, Niket hasn't been able to find too much engage. Doinb has been completely neutered on this Pantheon champion. His AD pool has not been the greatest. Tried to play a Yone game earlier this year, wasn't amazing.
Yeah, that was brutal.
The Pantheon games that we have seen from him haven't been all that impressive. So if I remember correctly, one of those Pantheon games was the super long pause, tech pause that we had, where basically Doinb just fed his mind off. He was, I think, 0-4 by like 8 minutes.
Yep.
So that was pretty tough.
I remember. It's I will say though, this is the second time I've gotten to cast the Doinb Pantheon mid combo that NIP likes to go for. And it's I don't know if I want to see a third time. He goes for like some crazy angles.
You will not see it third time.
Well, hey, that's a blessing. But I also got to give huge props to Gury specifically from the side of Vikings. I think his management of the early clear into the impact that he had was so monumental into setting the Vikings up, because if they don't have that advantage from the jungle, if they don't have a little bit of that pressure being put on the map, I feel like it's a little bit harder to see this team sync up. But once they had that lead, I mean, they put all 5 bodies together. It's so hard to crack it open.
It's also just the flexibility, I think, of this team. Because we came into this draft, we're seeing, okay, there's a Scion, there is this Yunara, and a Poppy. And they used 2 of those flexes really, really well. So the drafting, definitely really good. Want to give a shout-out over to SOFM, the coach for this team. Obviously someone who has innovated for such a long time. Okay. Niket blocks it.
Going to flash. Yep, he is going to go down. That Unbreakable Will looks like he is paper thin. And Naiyou got locked down with a slow there and just gets taken down. Won't even he actually doesn't even Requiem there. He's going to keep it up, I guess. And that will be all she wrote for the topside Siege, as they were able to take a tier 2.
Okay. Let's just see
I feel like you at least rage ult there, right?
I guess. I want to see how the MGN Vikings close this one out, because it would be their first game win of the tournament. And so far, LCP's looking pretty good tonight. You know, won that series versus JDG 2-0. Now going to potentially be going into a game number 3 unless something horribly wrong goes and happens. I think it's really awesome to see that they're able to compete here. And LCP has been, I think, growing in popularity, especially with their success so far at Internationals of 2025.
Yeah, for sure. It's been really nice to see they kind of level up year to year, but then especially this year, really finding a lot of contention. Even with the kind of readaptation of their league and all the changes that came to the format, still been really nice to see some good representation. I know they're looking forward to Worlds, seeing their couple teams come at them. But Leave and Naiyou, unfortunately, they're not going to last long for this world. Style's going to take him down, and Naiyou should be ran down by the rest of the Vikings here. Another slowdown, another little combo comes through for the keeper's verdict. The lockdown is there on Naiyou. He's healing a decent amount with the redemption, doing a good amount of work, and that's a little bit of what this Karthus can do, but I think it's just a little bit too late.
Yeah, it's going to be Baron being started up here by the Vikings. And they've got a dragon in minute 30. Like, this is literally everything going right for them. I just love this draft, man. Like, I had my doubts. I was a little questionable. I really wanted to see if NIP could pull this off, but the Scion mid just neutralizes everything that Doinb wants to be able to get done. They invaded on good timers versus Naiyou. And now we've got a fence sitter Grasshopper.
Bro, he's lying. He's lying. He's a liar. We found you out, Grasshopper. We know you're kind. I go back to the that's where I'm leading this into. I go back to the duality of the Bugs Life Grasshopper and the Mulan Grasshopper, and honestly, I'm seeing him more like the Bugs Life one right now. Very mean, very angry, as maybe NIP. Trying to pick off Gury again. It's not going to work. They've tried so many times. They literally just can't get him. Like, how many times do you put your hand in the well and get bit by a snake before you stop going to the well? NIP going to find a pick on Akati, but they're losing their base now in the bot lane the entire time that this is taking place.
Yep, that's going to be it. All right, they're going to teleport back in to save their turrets. They've got Baron. They're going to take 2 inhibitors, and MGN Vikings are going to send us to game number 3.
It had to be the case. LCP has been pumping today, and they're looking to even this series up here as the Vikings going to take one last bat at the turret, and what a beautiful game from them. Almost 15,000 gold up, and now we're going to game 3.
Let's go. Okay, how incredible would that be if we get to see 2 LPL teams taken down by LCP here tonight? That would be, I think,
hey,
really
Rare
big
Adam,
for the
can you
region.
mute him?
I'm okay with that. Look, we're gonna have to watch LPL lose later today when DK
I need to
plays,
hear
so.
you love LPL. All right, I'm
What did I not do
you're
for
an
the last
LCP
9
caster.
months? What did I do for the last 9 months?
I don't. Where did all that love go? Where?
Oh man.
Man, singing the praises of LCP while our teams are getting destroyed. What world is this? Anyway, no, it is really nice to see a Viking show up. Again, this is their first game win throughout the tournament itself. I know it's still a little bit early for them, but still very important to highlight. And more so is about the execution of the comp. Gury might not have had a lot of damage there, but he was so instrumental in how they controlled this game from start to finish.
Yep. You can see it in the gold graph there. And even though Naiyou might have almost twice as much as Gury does in terms of damage, it's all about how effective these guys were. And we talked about also Mbessa being very important for both of these two guys. I mean, not a great matchup in general, so don't want to put it all on Solokill here, but everybody from NIP really struggling here. And this is more of that Ninjas and Pyjamas that we saw towards the end of the season. Not all in the right place. Niket and Leave kind of looking, I don't want to say desynced from each other, but making a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. A lot of mistakes. I think that's the hardest part about this is like game one was like not like omega clean, but it was way cleaner than that game number 2. So we really hope to see NIP give a little bit of a better form, because you got to remember this loss would be pretty detrimental to their continuation in the tournament itself. And it all started off with the early gank that Gury just out micromanaged all the 3 players that answered by NIP.
This dive is just so sold down the river. There's no damage, like almost gets this down. There's no ultimate from Solokill, which I think is probably the part that hurts the most. This is the Solokill. Leave not even bothering to use any of his abilities here. Like no flash, no barrier, no ult, just a very dry Solokill coming through. Not much else to say. I mean, this was about as classic of an NIP loss as you could get from what we've seen from them this year. And they're disappointing.
Killed somebody! Let's go. I think that was his only kill with the Requiem all game long. Pretty sure. Feels a little bad, man. That's definitely not the big ticking point here, though. It is the fact that the Vikings have pulled together in this game number 2 and shown a lot more promise. Again, you got to remember, they chose this red side for this game number 2, trying to make sure that that counter pick really stuck well, and it did. Absolutely. From start to finish, this composition was armed to the teeth. I'm still flabbergasted that we have such a stalwart front line between the 3 of them, the Yorick, Scion, and the solo lanes, and that works. Like these are the kinds of metas that you love to see, because it's just different. I feel like maybe it's not the most flashy. You just have a bunch of big bodies in the front line, but when you see it executed like this, I think it's really nice. And yeah, this was like the 15th time they did this.
I just think that they just are never killing Gury here. Like,
never.
Doinb has not enough damage. It's only Kaisa who could have gotten them out of that. Please give it to Gury. Deserves it.
Please
played a very,
give it to
very
Gury.
strong game. There we go.
Yay.
First one in their first win here at the Asia Invitational. And let's see what NIP could do to kind of bounce back from that one, because it sucks that we had one LPL team lose today. It would really sting if we had a second one.
Oh, going back on your word now, huh? Yeah. Let's see how it is.
I want to give them praise, man. Look, LCP get crapped on at every international tournament for forever. It took them literally this year to get a single best-of-3 series for a win over the LPL. I think when they win, it should be celebrated. It doesn't happen often. And again, this is also kind of a for-fun tournament. So, like, gotta take it. Not even when there was Rift Rivals. The closest one they had was 2016 Rift Rivals, and it was a best-of-5 versus the LPL that they almost won.
Yeah, that was a banger. That's a throwback, actually, as well. But we'll see. Can the Vikings overcome NIP? Will it be Vikings? Will it be Ninjas? I don't know what timeline we're in, but I'm here for it. And we'll see what happens after this next break. We'll be back with game number 3.